Hello and welcome to Broadsword Wargaming. In this video, I'm doing a 24-hour painting charity challenge with Grim Dice Gaming and Kira for Models for Heroes. Not only that, you, the viewers, will have multiple chances to win various prizes. What more could you want? Also, that was really hard to say. It took me like 20 tries. Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please do click that subscribe button for more videos to come, or check out the links below if you wish to support the channel in any other way. So on we go, back again, yet again, with another 24-hour video. This is like my third now in the last couple of months. They are rather difficult, but this one is a different thing. So this one is for charity. I was contacted by the guys at Grim Dice Tabletop Gaming, an awesome place over in Grimsby in the UK. Check out the link below to the shop. They are a great bunch of guys. I've known them for a couple of years now, and they got in touch because they've followed the channel for a while and they've seen I've been doing 24-hour videos, and they decided they wanted to have a go at one for bolt action. This is a game I used to play years ago. I had a bolt action Polish army. Unfortunately, it got stolen in like 2015 or something, and I've never bothered to repaint the new ones I got. So I was quite happy really to jump in on the opportunity to do this with them and promote Models for Heroes. With that, we got Kira as well, because she streams on Twitch now. Check out the link below as well for her Twitch stream. She painted some bolt action here as well to get involved and help out, really raising the awareness of the charity. And the charity is Models for Heroes. These guys basically have been around for a couple of years now, and through the use of painting and kind of the therapeuticness that painting gives us, they support our armed forces and the people in the emergency services. So the crux of the video is I am painting 1,000 points of Polish. Grim Dice are painting 1,000 points of Soviets. Kira is painting some Defence Force people, not for the 24 hours, just for a session on her stream as well. And there are prizes. The prizes that are being given away, they gave away, both Kira and Grim Dice gave away all sorts of prizes on their streams. And for anyone who donates to the link to Models for Heroes, which is down below, so even £1 will do, every penny literally helps, gets you in to a raffle, essentially, to win the huge Stalingrad box set. I think it's about a £200 box set, sponsored from the guys at Warlord Games. And also, not only that, just for watching this video, if you leave a comment below and like the video, then you will be in with a shot to win a Russian army. Again, sponsored by Warlord Games, so thank you to those. I'll be drawing this out next week. All the things will be drawing on the 27th of this month, 27th of November. So it gives you a good week to really watch this, subscribe, like, donate if you wish. And yeah, without further ado, I've dribbled on long enough. I'll get straight to it and straight through to the video. So catch you guys in a bit. Hello, how are you doing?
Not bad. How's yourself, Ollie?
Not so bad. I'm excited for my third attempt at a 24-hour video. I plan on not failing this one. That's kind of primary goal, really. How are you feeling? Are you feeling good?
Yeah, feeling confident. This is our first one, so we're going for a winning streak of 1 for 1.
But what have you got painting then? What have you got in front of you? I know you've got a Soviets. That's probably a lot of dudes, isn't it?
It's 1,000 points of bolt action Soviet. It's about 64, 65 infantry and a T-34.
You're starting easy then, right? 65. I think that's more than I ever did on my first one, and any of my ones, I think. I think I ended about 20 on my last one. So this is all for a good cause, isn't it? It's something you guys have organised. I know you've been supporting these guys for a while, and we are doing some mega giveaways. I know you guys have been giving some stuff away on your stream as well, because you've been doing a 24-hour live stream and I'm doing the video. We're about ready to go. Are you ready and set?
Brushes are lined up.
We're ready to shoot. So it's 9 AM, so I'll probably catch up with you in a couple of hours. I'll chat and jump in the stream, and then we'll do a little catch-up chat in a bit and see where we're at. Hopefully I'm ahead of you. Hopefully we're both doing well. Not that this is a competition, it's all for charity, obviously, and I'm not bothered if I don't win.
It's for charity, but Grim Dice will win.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But all right, I'll catch you back in a couple of hours then. And we are off. Here is my 1,000 points of Polish bolt action. I've got about 50 troops, a TP7 and a tankette, so a little mini tank as well, along with some horses and a few mortar teams. So there's quite a lot to do here, but these models are considerably smaller than Games Workshop models. First step, as always, is a zenithal. The Polish army, as far as I can tell, the colour scheme is generally a khaki to a green. Having done a tester model, yes, I actually did one testing model this time, I realised they need to be quite white for the khaki to take, otherwise they go a little bit green when they go over black. So I don't mind a greeny hue to my khaki, but a heavy white zenithal, leaving the very darks in just the lowest, darkest places seems the way to go. This doesn't actually take me too long because I'm not being overly accurate with the zenithal at all.
Unlike on a Space Marine where I'm trying to really pinpoint my highlights and pinpoint where the light is going, because these are wearing clothes, the material doesn't really matter too much in relation to where it's highlighted. But it's quite good, quite an easy process. It does take me maybe an hour at most to get this done. So it's probably about 10 o'clock before I get to the stage where everything is highlighted. And here we have all of the models. They're a little bit easier to see now they've got this sketching on them. The detail's lovely, the models are great. The tanks are quite small, but they were quite small in the war anyway, so it's not really an issue. These guys are the 10th Motorized Brigade. They wore black leather jackets over their uniforms, which is why they're in a different colour. Next up, I just varnish everything. I'm using the Vallejo satin varnish here. They need this because the models are metal. They chip quite easily and the paint rubs off, so trying to protect them at each stage is probably a good idea if you haven't worked with metal models before. Then it's the khaki. I'm using the Vallejo Air Color Khaki. I think that's actually what it's called. It's a really, really nice colour. I use this on the female guard models actually, and it's kind of how I work this scheme out. All over, multiple thin coats, until you're happy with the colour of it. You can go a little bit lighter here and you will end up with a whiter colour. It's not really what I wanted because the army weren't that colour. Through all the models, again, this takes a while. Why Polish? A few people have asked me. Well, I actually have Polish heritage. My granddad was called Bolesław and was a tank commander in the war. So the tank I've got here has a little dude popping out of it, and that is actually my granddad. He did get shot in the head and demobbed back to Lincolnshire in England. So it's kind of a personal reason for why I'm doing this army, and it's why I like the charity as well. It just sort of feels like it hits the mark, particularly from World War II. So I have tried to base this off of my granddad. That's the khakis down now. There's my general and a forward observer. Lots of interesting little quirky models. There's Bob popping his head up out of the tank. That's where he got shot, and he didn't pop his head up again. He did survive, but yeah. The cavalry dudes, they're a famous bit of propaganda where they charged apparently into tanks. They didn't. It was kind of just a shot. As far as I'm aware, I'm no World War II expert, but I do find it quite interesting. Then it's on to highlights. I'm just going to do a highlight. There's no low lights here. This is a slightly lighter colour. I think this might be Desert Sand by Vallejo. And I'm trying to make this more natural, unlike in 40k tanks or other vehicles from sci-fi games. I don't really want that high contrast, weird finish, even if it looks cool. I'm just going for all the centre parts of the panels and the edges lightly with this colour because I don't want them to end up deserty. I do still want them to stay khaki. It actually makes the tank look really nice when the khaki goes over the zenithals. It does leave some nice dark areas if you manage to highlight them correctly. Then just a little blob everywhere, and that's how they look now. I hope you can see the kind of colour these have ended up. There is a green hue to them. That is from the dark black undercoat. It's good. There's a decision to be made as to what colours to do things. The horses here do take me a while. I've zenithal these as well quite lightly, and I'm going over these with various different browns. I think I've got the scale 75 skin tone sets. There's a couple of different browns. I've got some rhinox hide. I use a grey horse, and I have a pop at a white horse just for the commander, so he stands out a bit more in the game. Then it's a glaze. So I've got Agrax Earthshade here mixed with Lamia Medium. The Lamia Medium, unlike water, stops this pooling on the top, so it allows it to go into the recesses, and this brings them back to a more tan colour. Really, really, really light application, and do not let this sit on any of the flat surfaces. Just rub it all over the model. It's a pretty quick step. It just takes a while because there's so many models to do. But it does add a little bit to the models in the end, and it starts to put back a tiny bit of detail into the recesses. I'd say it does take a while. The sun here, as you can see, is passing. That's why the light goes all funny. I've got a big window and door in front of me. I'm guessing we've gone past midday now, if I remember correctly. We're about 2 o'clock here. I haven't yet taken a break. I've just stuck at this just because Grim Dice are also in this competition, and I cannot lose a third 24-hour video. No chance. A little glaze on the horses here with Nuln Oil or Agraxes. Depends on what colour models I'm doing. The white one has the contrast paint, the apothecary grey over it as well. And then that's all of those done on the horses. They're nice. They've ended up, the horses are quite small actually, I think, but they end up with a bit of a nice shade and a nice highlight just from the way they've been done. That's Kira coming in, feeding me regularly with some drinks. Then it's a Nuln Oil over the motorbike brigade as well because they're wearing grey clothes. Now it's the tan colour. So I'm using an overbrush here, more so than a dry brush. Very similar, just a slightly wetter brush. Where a dry brush is a completely dry brush, overbrushing is you can be a little bit rougher, and I don't mind. I'm not normally a fan of overbrushing and dry brushing on my models, particularly Space Marines, because it adds texture. But with these being clothes, I feel like wool has a texture, and there's no problem with doing that. Same on the tanks. You can add some texture, it gives a bit of almost weathering onto the sides of the vehicles if you load it up quite dry, which is what I do here. So you can see that's the zenithal highlight going on, and then this is just the dry brush. I'm not being particularly accurate here, and this is now quite light on paint. I don't want to cover this in this. I just want to pick the corners up. You can see the Agrax has had a nice effect as well there, so it's gone a little bit browner. And there we go. That's all the troops after all of the khakis are done up to that stage. Then it's on to details. This is probably what's going to take me quite a long time because there are a lot of details on these models. This is for me now the worrying process. I start with Mornfang Brown, going on to the leathers. I think I've got an idea of where I'm placing these colours at this point. All the little pouches, the backpack bit. That area there, just on the back left, I end up going for a green because it's too much brown otherwise, and I don't want them to actually look like desert fighters. This bit is the longest part of the entire video, so I'll cut forward a little bit because I don't think you want to see me doing this for like an hour of leather brown. Maybe I should think of something else to talk about. Maybe the charity. So Models for Heroes, as I mentioned briefly, are a great charity to support. They support the armed forces and the emergency services, particularly looking after their mental health. So a nice charity to be involved with. Do check out the links below if you want to donate anything to them. And there are the prizes. You can win the giant Stalingrad set. You're in for a draw for that on the 27th. Everyone who supported and donated from the Grim Dice site as well is in there, and from Kira's stream. So really nice. You got a good shot at winning a huge box set.
It's now about 6 p.m. and Kira is streaming at, I think, 8. So I have to move all of the lighting and stuff from the kitchen into the living room where we have like the little computer setup in the corner. It's not ideal, but it does take me a while to take everything down and reset it in there. So I kind of stopped here for about half an hour and then reset up in the living room so Kira could stream until about 10:30. So I did lose a bit of time here. I was painting in the kitchen without the lights, just not on camera, to try and catch up because I felt I was a tiny bit behind where I would want to have been at this point, as I always am. If you haven't checked out her Twitch stream, do. There's a link below. She paints and plays Wargaming stuff and plays RPGs on there as well. So it's all good fun. So do make sure you follow along with her and see how she gets on.
And that's as far as I got after I'd moved. So this was all just the leathers done on all of the models. It did really take me a long time, but Kira streamed in between. She did a great job painting some of the Defense Force models. Was really impressed with that, so great job to her and hats off, and congratulations to the guy who won the Soviet T-34 tank. Awesome prize just for joining in to watch. So for me, I've got the webbing to do. This is the closest I could get to olive green, which is not a colour I had. This is a Citadel one. I forget which one it is. Maybe the Lothlorien Forest colour. This is a long process, does take me quite a while because there is a fair bit to do on these models. I didn't put the webbing on the motorised brigade because the green just didn't look quite right. You can see we've got a new camera setup now. I know it's not as fancy as the previous one. The space is a little bit more limiting, but you can see what I'm doing and you can see how the process is going along. This is now around 10 p.m. Maybe 11 p.m. at this point. So I'm starting to get a bit tired, but I'm trying to be clean, I'm trying to be accurate, and I will clean the models up as I go to save myself time later. Then it's the guns. So for this, I've got Rhinox hide now. This is a nice dark color. Or is it Dryad bark? Ooh, no, Rhinox hide, definitely. For this, for the guns, I do all the guns on all the models. It's a wood, like a mottled dark wood effect. I can wash this down with Nuln Oil and highlight later on with a lighter brown if I wish. This does take a very long time. There's loads of models to do, the whole army, everyone has a gun, and any spare leathery bits that I kind of felt should be darker, I did as well at this point. I'll skip on, I won't show you the entire bit because this probably takes me a good hour and a half maybe to do this. I know it sounds like a long time, but I'm definitely getting tired and I'm definitely slowing. It's guns galore. The models now start to have some separation on them, and this has felt like a really good step with this in the green because everything looked really khaki and a bit bland earlier, so I'm much happy with how they're looking now. On to the rest of the motorised brigade where I'd done the green webbing. These don't really have that because they've got coats, so for the overcoats I went with Zandri Dust on the straps. I felt it broke the models up again a bit more and looked a lot nicer. I can wash this and then highlight it up, perhaps with Ushabti bone or a really, really lighter bone colour. Every model has a bedroll. I assumed really this would be that more khaki to green colour, but I wanted to break the models up a bit, so I used Gorthor brown. This is almost like a flesh, a very like pinky flesh color, similar to the sort of browns and khakis of the model. So it won't look too different, but it will look a little bit different. And I think it looks a bit more like that woven wool kind of throw effect you get now. So I was happy enough to go with this color because I felt it just broke the models up a bit more rather than doing the same as everything else. With a wash, that'll look lovely, I think. They do kind of look like sausages right now. As we approach into the final hours, it's around 7:30 in the morning now. I've been on the phone with Grim Dice, with Dom from them, since about 2 o'clock, and then Stu joined as well. So there was all three of us painting through the night. Stu was actually assembling tanks, ready for Dom to do more, which sounded mental. He assured me he'd finish all his models by 3, and that time passed well by now. So I've just got the flesh tones to do. This goes nicely over the khaki. I'm just using Cadian flesh, straight out of the pot almost. Slightly watered down so it runs in a bit nicer, it doesn't clog anything up. Doesn't go so nicely over the black, but it does really break all of the models up now and almost gives me that finishing touch. I was hoping I'd get some flesh wash in, and I was hoping to finish the metals and then give it a non-oil and be done. I didn't quite get there. At 9 o'clock, we put the brushes down and that's it.
This is where I did some overtime. That was 24 hours done, finished at 9 AM. So we started at 9 AM, we finished at 9 AM. And I needed a bit more time to edit this video, so those guys did all their stuff. I had a week from the 13th to the 20th to get this video out, which is today. And I managed to base all my models up and do a bit more to them.
Putting in those final steps to get these models to tabletop standard, I used a Reichland flesh shade over all of the flesh. It just really helps the models come along. There's obviously more I could do to these, and there will be more I'll do to them. I'll go over some highlights, I can put some flesh tones back in again, and just tidy some things up. I didn't get time to finish all the metals, but I did decide to base them. So here I've got PVA glue in a little pot, and I am using soil mixed up with grout. Now the grout really helps this hold and lets this solidify, and the soil there, you can see, gives it a nice lumpy texture. I put some tufts on to finish the models off, and there we have it. That is 1,000 points of bolt action Polish in about 26 hours. They aren't done to the standard I'd normally do. I've not cut any corners. I've just not finished them quite as much as I'd like to. The metals still need to go on, and then I need to highlight some of the browns and highlight some of the faces. I'm really happy with these. These guys have spears to go in the hand jet. You can see the guy's got no silver on his sword. The tank tracks there are all muddied up. I've managed to weather these a little bit, and there is Bob painted up, popping his head out of his tank.
How did you get on? The audience don't know. I know now, and you know what I did, and I know what you did, and you know what I didn't do, and I know what you did. So how did it go?
Well, Grim Dice are victorious. Just drop that one in there straight away.
Yep, get it in early.
You were successful on this painting challenge.
I have a finished Polish army, and I know you have a finished Russian army because you did manage to finish. How did the plan go to finish 10 extra tanks and have all your troops done by 2 AM?
Technically, we didn't get the extra tanks done.
Yeah, technically. I mean, I do seem to remember being on the stream with you at 10 to 9 and you were still basing, but you did base them.
Which one of us was basing?
That doesn't matter. I remember you basing at 9 AM. But I mean, you guys, I know this video now for us literally goes out tomorrow. And how do you guys get on with the fundraising a week later? How are we looking? I think you guys did a great job, a stellar job.
At the moment, we're on £383.
That's excellent. You've done a great job. I know, I said earlier, I know you guys have kind of put all this together. So thank you very much to you for sorting that out. And thanks to Warlord for sending some prizes over. Kira for joining in, you for doing it. Now, I'm going to call it a draw, but it was a win really to you. I know that. I'll admit it. I didn't win, but I didn't kind of not finish it, sort of.
Yours are definitely tabletop standard, mate, so yeah.
Yay! I get the Grim Dice seal of approval. I'll take that. So, excellent. I look forward to seeing you and catching you in the flesh. And stay safe, stay COVID safe. Well, there you have it. That is the video done. 24 hours plus some overtime. I managed to complete a painting challenge. 24 hours and a bit got me 1,000 points with my Polish. They are not completely finished. There's a bit more I'd like to do to the basing. There's some highlights and things I like to put on. I've got some transfers as well. But chuffed. I could now play this army in a game if I wanted and be quite happy that they're painted to a standard. Grim Dice, congratulations to those as well. They did manage to paint all of the Soviets, and Kira for painting a couple of models as well. I know they raised there, I think about £400 so far up to this point, and that was of the 13th So today now is the 20th, and all the prizes and everything will draw on the 27th. We've got another week now to raise some money, hopefully to get some of you guys some prizes as well. I will probably be doing some sort of bolt action games. I might have to get Grim Dice over when I get to the new studio and lockdown kind of ends or slows down at least next year. Get them over and have an actual game on a Stalingrad style board with their Russians against my Polish. Would be awesome, right? Just as a nice follow-up. Thank you to all of you guys for watching. If you like this video, please do remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the alarm bell for more videos to come. Check out the links below if you want to support the channel. There's a Patreon down there. Just for all my patrons, you get access to a private Discord and various other things as well now, which is great. So thank you to all of you guys. There's links down there to buy your models. I would be amiss if I didn't say, check out the Grim Dice link. They do all sorts of models, Warhammer stuff, bolt action stuff. If they've not got what you want there, drop them an email. They're really, really good. They'll always order things in and they're really quick as well. Great delivery. So do check them out and support your local friendly gaming stores, particularly during these COVID-y times. There's also links to my Amazon shop and various other things as well. So yeah, just want to say big thank you to Grim Dice for organising this. Thank you to Kira for taking part. And I hope we've managed to raise some awareness for Models for Heroes and raise some money as well. And mainly, thank you to you guys for watching. So take care and I'll catch you in another video.